Under your butts.
Minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
One shall stand, and one shall fall.
Yeah. New kids on the block, we here making it pop. Don't care if you like it or not. Bobby One is the top. The head nerds in charge and R4C to making things happen. If you think you heard what you thought you heard, go ahead and play that thing back. Coming out the speakers in the car in the man cave. The mother bus is about to be knocked off the airwaves. So be very afraid. Better check your gameplay. Sitting on all that and finna take away your fan base. The stage is set. Better put respect up on our name. What you get right now, you get it later. A consistent game, a steady dosage. Once you started, you can get enough. The people's chant ain't a topic we ain't finna touch. So bring your A game, cause the boys behind the mic finna do the same thing. One time for the one time, let it off like bang bang. We aiming to be the greatest. We accepting any challenge. With a snap of the finger, bringing balance. Let's make it happen. You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Head nerds in charge.
You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law. There's only one boss in this place, and that's me. The HNIC.
What it do, y'all? It's your boy King Kurt live, back at it again. Tonight we got a special night for y'all. It's a Monday night. You know, usually we don't do this. So it's got to be something real dope for us to go ahead on, knock on your door and tell you to come on in and sit down with us on a Monday night. It's the King, back at it. Came off a flight specifically to come here tonight to talk about this special Kickstarter project that we want to highlight to you. But before we get into it, as always, I'm going to throw it to my co-host, my doppelganger, Mini-Me, Bizarro Me, the reason why I get gas in the morning. Tevin, you got to unmute your mic. You got to, if you going to talk trash, you got to unmute your mic, baby.
Like, wait, what do I have to do with your irritable bowel problem?
Well, listen, because you irritate my bowels, baby.
Listen, that sounds like a whole personal problem, sir.
Listen, look. My problems is your problems, and your problems is your problems. But if you could be so kind to introduce yourself to the crowd, we can get this thing started.
What's up, guys? It's at Tuffy Wonder, your wonderful melanated mocha-fied merge on.
You gotta do a titty jiggle at the end of it. Is that
First of all, I do what I please.
Wait, Tav, do it again for in case you didn't see it the first time. You gotta do it, but like in slow motion.
Wow, get out. Goodbye.
No, why?
Goodbye, trash bag.
No, come on.
Damn, look at them titties.
come on, Tavi. Look, it's a Monday night. Everybody.
How do you do a slow titty jiggle? Like,
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure we can figure it out live on air. There we go. I think that was pretty comparable. I'm actually kind of impressed by that.
Oh my god, this is exactly why anime doesn't belong in titties. It barely belong in real life.
Don't belong in anime.
Yeah.
See, it's a Monday, so we forgive us because you know what? Yeah, we're gonna keep the energy real high. We're gonna Teffy Wonder's gonna keep everything pumping and gumping. But I wanted to take this time to talk about Ancient Illumination. You guys might remember we had Rod on the show a couple weeks back to talk about his Kickstarter program. Well, thanks to y'all wasn't playing no games in these streets, baby. They were about halfway funded when they came on the show last time. And thanks to a lot of you guys who came through to the show, saw him, and supported, they are now at almost their goal. I think they're almost about a little bit over $600 away from completing their goal. And so far, 103 backers, but close ain't good enough. Close just ain't good enough. We still got 7 days to complete the mission. And so tonight, not only do we have Rod Van Blake back to talk a little bit more about some of the tiers and some of the other things about Ancient Illumination that we didn't get to talk about originally, but we got another special guest. That's right, the artist and the art that y'all love so much that y'all kept clamoring, but who's the artist and who's art? All right, so we did our due diligence, and we found we found the good brother, and guess what? We about to add them to the show right now. As a matter of fact, enough of my jaw jacking. Let's get him in here. We got Rod Van Blake and my man,
hello.
JP Jackson. What's
What's
good,
going
everybody?
on?
Hey.
What's happening? What's going on?
It's good to have you back on the show once again. And we talked at length last time about Ancient Illuminations, but for those who did not see the last episode or just now getting introduced to y'all, could you please introduce yourselves and talk about your part in the project and why it's important to you?
Okay. My name is Rod Van Blake. I am the author, the writer of the Ancient Illumination saga. There are currently 3 novels. And my friend here, Jordan, is the illustrator for the graphic novel. And if you like science fiction, military sci-fi, space opera, this is a series for you to get into. It is going to be, whether everybody knows it or not, the next big thing. It's just the difference is whether you're going to be on board with us now or whether you're going to be on board with us later when you see these things starting to pop up. The basic premises of beings made of pure light come to Earth thousands of years ago during the days of Cro-Magnon to teach us. And one decides that we're basically too stupid to learn and decides to experiment with us and have fun. And that gets him in trouble with his own kind. And they exile him here on Earth, taking away his ability to change back into pure light form. So he has to keep a human form and is tasked with enlightening man. And this story goes through our technological evolution as well as different mutations that our species goes through at his behest. And that's the basic gist of it.
That sounds like dope black sci-fi to me. I mean, look, you ain't got to say much to me when you get me on board. Once you said black, space, and sci-fi,
shit, Negro, that's all you had to say.
We here for it automatically. So how about you, Jordan? Could you introduce yourself in the same questions?
I'm Jordan Jackson. I'm the artist behind most of the work you see with the Ancient Illumination. I did the graphic novel, of course, and some of the artwork that you've seen. And pretty much this project is important to me because it's one of the kind of like first black projects that I've worked on and seen from like other writers that kind of feature like diverse perspectives and actually like focus on Black people in space. And that's like kind of my, my bread and butter, so to speak. So it's just like, that's what I gravitate towards. So it's like I had to be a part of this.
So Jordan, if I could just kind of jump on something you said that's kind of the space that you like to operate in. Well, when it comes to your art, and I just want to highlight some of your art here. What is your aesthetic when it comes to your art style?
Oh, when people ask me that, it's complicated because I work in very different styles. So like for instance, I think like more so this piece with the Bat Panther fusion, it's more akin to like traditional kind of American comics and illustrations. But in some cases, I do go completely realistic. but I love doing like science fiction based stuff and kind of superhero based stuff.
I love it because in a lot of the art that we had to see that's not necessarily a part of Ancient Illuminations, but I mean the art style, bro. I'm here for it.
Thanks.
Because this is a Storm Black Lightning mashup. Am I right?
Storm and Catwoman.
Oh, I like it even more. But like when it came to actually bringing together the concepts for Ancient Illuminations, where did you want to go with it artistically?
For me, I kind of wanted it to feel like cinematic because I come from an animation background. So a lot of my like design sensibilities, I think about animation, but also personally, I focus a lot on like light and contrast. So generally, it's like when I illustrated a few of the pages, when I'm illustrating the pages, I'm always thinking about like how does the lighting of a scene make it feel cinematic or tense. So that's generally how I approach it.
Beautiful. I love that. And how did you and Rod even connect?
Rod, do you want me to tell the story?
We had a small convention, I believe, in Howard.
Yep.
All fairgrounds. I didn't even know how I was going to go. Yes. I was just it's probably my second year straight of going to conventions and primarily Comic-Con in Baltimore, Awesome Con in DC. This is one of the smaller events for a table, and we were off in like a small warehouse, and we were passing a bunch of white folks with like the 4-H club talking about, I'm judging horses. Where are you going? Like,
going right down there.
Yeah, I'm going right to this little building here for this Galacticon, I think it was called.
Yep.
And my fiance, now wife at the time, we usually do we take our time and do a walkthrough, see other artists, other authors, whoever's at a convention to see what, not necessarily our competition, but who else is selling what, to see if we're interested or may like something. And she came by his table and then came back as we were finishing setting up, and she said, babe, I think you need to go down there and check this young man's stuff out because I think you'll like his art and it may be a good match. Because at the time I was looking for an artist. Like I said, this was my second year of basically having a mini convention tour, and many people would walk up and see this. They would see a 300-page book and be like, bro, that story sounds awesome, but I'm not finna read all that.
I like pictures.
Yeah, how about you get it illustrated? And I think that would be a good combination. So it was kind of ironic that that's one thing that I was looking for. I looked through his art. I talked to him, introduced myself to him, and said, yo, I'm Rod. I'm the author of this sci-fi book series. I think we might be a good match if you'd be interested in illustrating a story. I think I explained like the basic synopsis of the story to you.
Yep.
And then I went back to my table and I said, I'm gonna get some of your stuff. Let me just go and make table real quick, which is usually a thing before we spend money. We usually try and make table. And came back before it was over with, picked up a few things from, I think your dad gave me an extra print.
My dad, that was like I feel like that was like my second event. And so my dad would go with me to these events, and basically he was like, you gotta give away work. And I was like, I'm fine with that. Let's do it. Like, just like slide people extra prints, and it works. Like showing that love to like the fans and like, new people. Like, so that's what I tend to do when I go to conventions. I just started doing this in 2019, June 2019.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting because, doing it for the love definitely is an extension of how much you enjoy what you do. But of course, it still comes at a cost because even now with such an ambitious goal of Rod, how many prints are you looking to come out with the completion of this Kickstarter?
I've already got the order for 100 prints of the graphic novel, and then I have a certain amount for depending on how many people actually go for the alternate, the variant cover that we just had made. So over 100 on this run right now, and then that'll give me the ability to come to cons next year and bring prints as well. And this also is not only for this graphic novel, this will enable us to begin production on volume 2. So I'm trying to expand these stories, expand the universe, and keep it going. Like there's 3 books. I think it's the first graphic novel basically covers 2 chapters, Jordan?
Yep, 2.
So 2 chapters, and there are 3 books behind that. So we have a lot to cover. There will be a lot more coming, and this is just the beginning of that. So yeah, right now 100, and so and when things break down, I'm hoping to bring up more than 100 copies to Comic-Con next year, whenever things somewhat normal.
When life goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Post-COVID times.
Yeah. Definitely.
Post-COVID, when it's safe to do so, I'd like to bring this to the public. This is a chance for us because the shutdown, like I said, and the first time I spoke, we never really got a chance to launch this.
Right.
It was finished in February. I had the 3rd book in the series finished, Ancient Illumination 3 Godhood. I had this finished. Another artist did this cover, but Jordan also did some of the work to finalize this cover. I had published that book, and he had finished illustration for the graphic novel back in February. Mm-hmm. We were scheduled to go to 3 cons. It wasn't Baltimore. It was Awesome Con in DC in May, Tidewater Comic Con in Virginia Beach, and then Balticon at the end of May here back in Baltimore. And everything just shut down.
Now, if I could just kick it over to Jordan. I know with everything with COVID, it kind of impeded the launch. But in the interim, because, basically this Kickstarter has been just the main way of just getting the information out there and whatnot. What have you been doing for yourself personally in the interim until we can get back to the cons and conventions and what's some of the things that you've been doing in that between time?
Too much. I always say I'm doing too many things. Where to start? I've been working. What'd you say, Tappy?
I said we can definitely relate.
Okay. But I've been working as a freelance animator on various projects. I've been working on another graphic novel, a comic book with a Black writer. And I've been trying to refocus on working on my own personal comic and project. So I'm trying to getting that together, and I'm talking to another artist to collaborate and work together. But I'm always like staying busy and like looking for the next project always.
So Jordan, if I can actually, and I know if it's too forward, let me know. I still don't care because I'm asking anyway.
Okay.
Well, Jordan, how old are you?
I'm 26. I'm gonna turn 27 in like a month and 23 days, January 30th. So 27.
So now to other young artists, because we get this a lot. We have a lot of young creatives that DM us, and they're always looking for how to build their brand, how to get their work out there, and how to promote themselves. Especially with your work on Ancient Illumination, mm-hmm. What's some of the key things that you've learned to help maybe give advice to them?
So just to give you a little backstory, like I have a animation degree. And to be honest with you, when I came out of college, I didn't really know how to market myself. So I had to sort of build from the ground up. And so basically, I kind of just use Instagram. So basically I just constantly like promoted my work, like kept producing work, putting it out. But it took me a long time to actually go to cons and actually push my work out there just because of just life. And life life happened. So, but I started taking more risks. And because I feel like there's this natural inclination to kind of hide and stay in and stuff. And so I was like, I need to like take more risks and kind of get more exposure, get out there, and meeting people through conventions. And so generally that really helped me a lot, just with learning to kind of connect with people more. And so I would say to for sure, like go to conventions if you're interested in that. For sure, constantly studying and building up your skill. and also just kind of embracing your peers and kind of like, sharing work with them, learning from them.
I feel like you have a really good social media presence too, and like the way you hopped in our chat the last time we were streaming, I feel like you have like a very like get it attitude, like go get it.
Oh yeah, that's kind of how I am with just I'm just like that with work, where it's just like, all right, like Rod will attest to this, but I'm very much like, let's get this, let's get this shit started, let's get it going.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what would you say like motivates you to like keep that like positive attitude?
It's, I guess my motivation comes from the fact that like I feel like this, like that is kind of like my soul. Like this is a big part of me, and so like I feel like I have to do this. I have to create. I have to either use the work to inspire people and tell stories. So that's kind of what pushes me to keep going. Like if I can keep telling a story and keep inspiring people, I'm fulfilled in that way.
See, I love that. And real quick, speaking of stories, we're going to play a video real quick for those that are just joining the chat about Ancient Illumination. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, we're going to post the Kickstarter for you guys in a moment, but we got a video to play for you.
Hello, my name is Rod Van Blake, author and creator of Ancient Illumination, and this Kickstarter is for the production of Volume 2 of the graphic novel and to get more physical copies of Volume 1. The story centers on ancient beings of light that come to Earth thousands of years ago. One of them is exiled here on Earth and forced to try and enlighten mankind. Featured here on the cover is Gerald Omega. He's the king of the KICKSTARTER. KICKSTARTER translates roughly as Stone Warriors. These are human beings that have mutated into a group of people with calcified skin. So it's actually not made of stone, but it hardens them, enables them to work in harsher environments, heavier gravity, more extreme weather conditions. They go to other planets to mine and gather materials which society back on Earth uses to make highly advanced technology. Just wanted to thank you for helping us bring this project to fruition and coming along for the journey of Ancient Illumination. It's much appreciated.
Love it, love it, love it. So I already dropped dropped the link for the Kickstarter.
You talk about me drinking.
I know. Listen, I need one. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what's wrong now.
I'm sending the cocktail over to you. Don't worry about it. Depending on COVID, it might be here next week.
Listen, hit my Go Puff, baby. Before we get into the actual Kickstarter itself, we have a question from the chat for you, Jordan. What are your future aspirations for yourself? You're doing illustrations for others, but what is the main goal of you doing your own art?
So I guess main goal is to continue to kind of grow the foundation for other black business, black content creators, alongside, myself, and to eventually kind of be, I guess, in a sense, a sort of gatekeeper where I'm able to like help other artists, other black creators, and kind of help them launch their projects.
Okay, because I was about to side eye you when you said gatekeeper. I was like, oh.
Come on, what?
Listen, I saw Tefiana. I was like, oh, Jordan, you done messed up now.
Well, no, because gatekeeping has such a negative connotation.
It does, it does. But I mean, it's like, it's the reality of like what we live in. Like somebody's out here is like offering people opportunity. So I just, use that word.
Yeah. No, you gonna keep the gate open, not
yes. I'm gonna. How about this? I'm going to obliterate the gate so that is accessible to everyone. It does not exist.
See, I just real quick, I like that because sometimes we take such a negative connotation with the word gatekeeper, but a gatekeeper is essentially a guard, and some things do need to be guarded.
There is no gatekeeper.
I'm keeping it a buck because the problem is it's worked against us for so long. I think that's why a project like Ancient Illumination is so important because we need to have some guards that look like us. Because I need you to be like, hey, yo, you in the back of the line. Come on up. And I mean,
right.
Like, Rob, what you were trying to do, because Taryn already said she must love your voice. She said, ask that other brother another question. So I got to ask you a question real quick, and then I'm going to kick it back to Teffy. But Rob, essentially, even though we know is Afro-focused, is this a way to kind of put more of our people in mainstream media?
It is that. It's not as... It's more nuanced in Ancient Illumination, because basically I describe different groups of people in the books via mutation. And the reason why I chose Swahili as the language to give our descriptions is what you can read into it. So Kisanaskari, stone warriors in Swahili, people that have their skin made of stone that mutate and calcify for what? When you think about what's going on in the world today with police brutality and other things, what if guns didn't work because I had calcified skin? Then what would be the escalation? So the escalation in my books become the mutants change, and then regular society has to up their technology in order to try and maintain control of these various groups of mutants. Now, what Jordan didn't tell you is we also have a fantasy series that we are working on.
Oh, yeah.
You're asking what we were doing during the pandemic and shutdown. Well, while I was resting on Ancient Illumination, I also started writing a fantasy series, which is an alternate dimension to the Ancient Illumination world, so we can get our sword and sorcery on, or sword and soul, if you will. And that's going to be blackety black, because everybody basically in the whole... yeah, because some people are like, we need to change this character to a white character, and it's like, no, we're going to keep them all black.
Right.
I got
Lord of the Rings.
My nigga.
Because like I was telling you before, I love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit.
Right.
But that's like 20 something hours and you don't see one brother or sister in there at all. And that's fine. I don't see nothing wrong with that, because I didn't create that. So the thing with all this inclusion stuff, I'd rather it come from the perspective of the person that wants to be included, and not just me shooting something in there because it's popular or trending right now. I'm going to put this in my book. No, I'm going to write from my perspective. And then if you have a perspective that you feel that needs to be voiced or that needs to be seen, yeah, Fantasy Lovely is on the way. It's on the way.
You see, she was asking. She was like,
all right.
Yeah.
I have some art in there that kind of would reflect the style of like the different African gods that you'll see in the series.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the fantasy series. Instead of the same Greek and Roman pantheon of the Egyptian gods, we have mostly Orishas that are going to be the pantheon of gods overseeing this world.
We got them.
Yeah.
We got them.
Because that's just what
We're going to get this work. We're going to get this work.
Yeah.
And you were talking about gate. There are no gates anymore. That is a good thing and a bad thing simultaneously with the way publishing it. Because I started out with literary books. So I went about publishing, and I know back in the days you had to get an agent from a major house, and they would look at your story, your manuscript, and they would say either this sells or this won't. And it could tell you to kick rocks. Well, now with the advent of self-publishing, everybody can do it. And that I think is a good thing. The bad thing is everybody can do it, which means you kind of, there's a lot of stuff to sift through, because not everybody's going to get an editor because they don't want to pay for it. And any aspiring writers out there, I would say don't skip out on your cover, and don't skip out and pay for an editor, a professional editor, not your mom and them, not your sister, not a friend that loves you and that will tell you your manuscript is the best thing since sliced bread. Someone that's going to break down all the mistakes, and you can either choose to accept that advice or not, but at least have somebody thoroughly go through your work, because we don't want to purposely flawed things out to the public that's going to have your name or even your pen name or whatever. It's going to be out there with your reputation. I've been doing this for a while, because I published the first book in 2016, and I've met a bunch of other authors and supported their work, and then look at things and see simple things just like grammatic errors or contextual errors where a word is spelled differently and phonetically the same, but it's not the same word, it's the wrong context. And you see
like
it repeated.
here and here.
Yeah, and you see that repeated again and again and again. And it's like, you didn't have nobody look at this. So I tried
out here dropping gems.
I tried to talk to the brother and be like, look, the story beats, the character that you've created are wonderful. I just think you need to go through this and get the foundation, the basics cleaned up so that I can focus on the story. But I really like the story. And all I got back in return was, I'm glad you like the story.
We had somebody do that to us. They asked us, they sent us their book. And then when I gave I didn't give them like a super glowing stellar review. I was like, well, I like the story and I think it's a really deep, dope concept. But I was like, the first chapter threw me. And then I was like, some of the stuff didn't mesh that well in the end. And he was like, oh, well, I went through that stuff and I kind of explained it. And he just sort of it made excuses for like his creative choices. And I was like, that's fine. But it didn't it didn't read well on print. I was like, it didn't come across well on in the book. I was like, but I do like it. And he was like, oh, well, okay.
No, it's funny that you bring that up, Teffy, because for y'all who might not know, when we say we're highlighting a Kickstarter, when we say we're highlighting an artist, these are not our friends and our people who we just put in. Like Rod said, I didn't go. Rod didn't call up his cousin and then be like, hey, yo, put me on. Like, genuinely, we have an entire vetting process that we go through whenever anything comes across our desk. So we try to make sure to bring you we're not going to put our name on something and say, hey, you should support this thing, without us first making sure it's A1. And that's one of the things that came across to me with Ancient Illumination. Everything was so on point. I was like, oh yeah, we definitely got to, we going to support these brothers. But like to Teffy's point, we've had plenty of other people come through, and man, if y'all want HNIC's real opinion, then we'll give it to you, but just be prepared, because we don't do sterling reviews of everything. We don't. We just don't. So if trust me, if we get to the point where we're doing a live show about a Kickstarter, you can almost be guaranteed, bar none, that when you support it and you get that book, it's going to be A1. Number one, not only for the culture, but like Ross, the basics are there. And I think that's the negative connotation that you have with indie comics. Sometimes people think subpar when it's just not the case. Have y'all ran into that?
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot. We sometimes, it's kind of funny because I support a lot. Jordan supports a lot, and sometimes it'll go back and forth. Well, we'll see something and be like, "Yo, you need to look at this." This is what we're going up against right now, and I think if they're getting put on, we should definitely be on. There's no excuse, and that's not to say that they shouldn't be put on, because I don't hate anybody's hustle. Because if you are selling wet sandwiches and people are buying them, what can I really do to hate on that?
All you can do is dry your sandwiches. Let's just sell dry sandwiches.
I have better dry sandwiches than you.
I can't. You sensitive? You're sensitive about your shit.
Oh yeah, that's always like that. I feel like some artists need to be open to criticism, because you gotta be able to
is how you grow. Criticism is how you grow. It's so funny. I just literally had a meeting with my son's kindergarten teacher today, and they want to move my son from the reading group he's in now to another reading group, because right now he is the only kid that does all the reading, who raises his hand and answers all the questions. He pretty much handholds and leads the group that he's in. Wow. And they want to put him in a group where all the other kids are more outgoing, they participate more, like it would be more, he would get more like competition, and he would be able to like grow and socialize and stuff like that, which is important because my son has special needs. And I was like, do it. He need to be challenged. He's not going to get no better if he in a group of wet sandwiches who not doing nothing. Put him in there with the dry sandwiches. Let him get a little toasty. I was like, he'd be all right. If it don't work, we go back to wet sandwiches. But
right, I'm gonna let you know now. We making that into a T-shirt. Wet
sandwiches. Wet sandwiches, yeah.
Sloppy sandwich.
If I'm saying this, you know,
that's how we.
I need to get better. There are 3 books right now. I'll be working on a 4th. If I'm the same writer at the end of book 4 that I was in book 1, something is wrong. The characters have to have moved to a different stage than when you first met them. If there's no growth, you're watching the same dude do this, or the same woman character do the same thing that they were doing in book 1 and sees the world in the same. Yeah, what they been doing. So I have to be open to criticism. There are some times that I see reviews on Amazon that kind of irk me, but I have to listen to those things or else I'm not going to get any better. If everybody's telling me it's the best thing since sliced bread and I'm letting that gas me up, what's inevitably going to happen is there's going to be a lackluster effort that comes along at some point. Why? Because it's working. Why am I going to change if I don't have to? If all I got to do is give you the wet sandwiches and you keep taking them, no one's gonna make me put them in the Quizno burner and
toast them up. Toast them up. Good night.
They're not gonna make
sandwiches, people.
Real quick, I just want to highlight this comment from Quentin. Quentin says the entire world of art is about criticism. If you're unable to pull the positive from things you hear, you're not ready to step outside of your box. Nowhere in this world will everyone like your work. One must be able to laugh at themselves and continue to persevere in this line of work. Jordan, I kind of want to kick that to you. How has that helped you as an artist?
What, just criticism in general?
Yeah.
I mean,
it didn't have a tough skin about it.
Okay. I mean, it's. I know. I take it with a grain of salt. Like if I get the same. If I get the same feedback over and over again, I clearly see a pattern. So I know, like, I clearly need to work on this. But you know, sometimes I look at it like this. It really is subjective. What some people view as beautiful is different to others. So I'm like, if you don't like it, then that's not for you. But ultimately, I still have to like consider, like, you know, the technical things. And I'll listen to that, but I'm not gonna listen to everybody. Then I'll just go crazy. Like you can't, like I have my own voice in my head telling me, like, "Hey, this needs to look a certain way." I'm not, you know, trying to hear everybody.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on who it is and where it's coming from. I have reviews on the books that didn't understand an oppressed or slave mutated race in the books, how they could be kings and queens. That didn't compute. I was like, but we live in a world where you know a large group of human beings were taken from one place that you know had to be kings and queens, taken to another land. Does that take their royalty from them simply because they've been stripped of that land? No. They were kings and queens the whole time, and now it's kind of writ large because what was stolen from us is unimaginable. Because there's a what-if scenario that we don't know what we would have been had we been left alone and the resources left where they were. Now, it could be, I think I was talking to you, Jordan, about this the other day. It could be that I would be some butt-naked dude with a bone in my nose somewhere lost, or it could be that we have real Wakanda today if the resources were left in the land where we came from.
Possibility.
We don't know.
The richest continent in the world? Yeah.
I mean, you could be butt naked with a bone in your nose and still be a doctor. You could be butt naked with a bone in your nose and still be a teacher, an engineer.
I'm just saying that's the stereotypical savage-like imagery of us.
So just because you look like a savage on the outside doesn't mean that you're not full of knowledge, you're not full of wisdom, you don't bring something of value to this earth. That's
just the imagery. That's just the imagery, and that people say that, well, if we'd have left you over there, that's what would have happened. That's all we'd be reduced to. And like, you don't know that.
But imagery is powerful, and I believe, and that's part of the reason why Jordan's artwork is like was so popping with like our last live stream, because the images that you put out there are just as powerful as the words that you put down on paper.
Very
and
true.
to say that, oh well, I could be butt naked with a bone in your nose. Well, I could be butt naked now. That don't take away nothing of my other accomplishments. That doesn't lower my IQ. That doesn't change
No.
how good I am as a person.
I wasn't saying
Don't
it spoke to the intelligence there. I'm saying that that's the condition they seem to think we would be in had they left us all where we were. Someone asked a question about writer's block. I'm not sure if you.
Yeah, that was Anissa. Just for the imagery, this goes along to some of the images that we saw when we on the last feed. But just to Steffi's point and to both, because I see both viewpoints. Yes, obviously, no matter how we look aesthetically on the outside, it has nothing to do to speak to the value on the inside. And historically, they have used our aesthetics as a way to try to demonize and degrade us, to say, hey, you look like savages, so you must be savages. And
you should see somebody when they come up to me at my table and they see a 6'9", 340-pound black dude standing next to a table. Jesus. And like, you wrote books? Like, yes, I reads and I writes real good. I wrote all of them.
I guess I writes real good.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at me like I couldn't have wrote. Like I can't write books. Whoever asked the question about writer's block, I really don't. I get writer's block. I stick to outlining. I have a huge outline, and if I can't, I basically break my story down into smaller block points. And if I'm stuck where I can't expand that story, then I go and I tighten up that outline and various blocks until my creativity flows again and I can go. Because basically I just have the big A through Z of plot points of where I want to go. I know A and I know point Z, and now it's up to me to detail out the different steps in between. And sometimes I may be stuck on C and I can't go any further. I can't extend that. So then I just go and make sure that I have everything in line with the story until it kind of comes back to me.
And there's a follow-up to Anissa's question about the writer's block. Lovely said, does Rod have a process to start writing? Certain music needs to be playing, certain settings. What inspires you the most?
Nothing with words. Sometimes I do have music. I think I let Jordan listen to something called Trapanese music, which is kind of just like trap hip hop beats over like Japanese instrumentals kind of mixed in.
Yeah, that sounds like that's right up Sassy's alley.
But nothing that has lyrics that I can actually sing or rap to, because then I'm paying more attention to the song than I am writing. Usually if I'm writing like an action scene, that's my go-to. Right now I'm down here in my little man cave / office, and this is where I come to write. I'll go work out and then dedicate some time to writing. And my outline is the thing I start with first. Sometimes it's just a session of brainstorming also if I'm stuck. That's what I just said, Trapanese,
Look, I got you. I'm following up. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's popping in these streets. But
yeah, the outline is really what I work on. Brainstorming. Maybe I think of one character, and once I figure out what that one character is like, then I try and figure out their people and what the culture is like. And I just go about expanding that in my mind. And I got a big set of OneNote on Microsoft, and I'll just make different pages for notes for people, descriptions of those people, what this certain character looks like. I said, does she have brown eyes? Does she have black eyes? Because then I may be writing and forget what I said initially and have to go back to the note to make sure I keep the description the same. There's lots of stuff and tools and stuff that I do, little things that I have set up. I come and sit down at my computer. I put the little Trapanese music on. I open up my manuscript and check my outline, and then I get down and I get to work.
I love it.
And if I'm stuck at that moment, then I just go over the outlines and descriptions and hope that something will come to me.
All right, now to Jordan, I want you to take this question and then we'll double back. Perfect. Yeah, because it seems like for a man that says I'm always busy, this seems like this could be an issue.
No, it is. It's a problem. I work hard. So
I mess with him about it too.
So generally, like I go through. There's always this looming kind of like dreaded thing of like being burnt out, and I've gone through that at different points in my life, just working at certain jobs and like that affecting my artistic pursuits. And like because of COVID, it's like now I can do this like full time, so it's like I'm like I have to balance the work and then also like finding ways to de-stress. So like I'm a gamer, and probably an unhealthy gamer. I need to, I'm trying to get more active because like, boost the kind of healthy mentality.
F that.
I gotta get
Don't
out,
listen to
man.
him.
I'm always in the back cave. I gotta get out more. But yeah, for sure, there has to be a balance between like finding activities to de-stress because I'm kind of like I'm go-getter, so it's like I'm aggressively gonna attack the situation and like I'm gonna keep at my craft and keep working, like keep myself kind of steady and sharp. And so yeah, it's a balancing act always.
Cool. How about you, Rod? Same question.
No, I don't get overloaded with my ideas. Usually my thing is writing them down and keeping track of them. I may have something that's a really cool idea, but it's just not applicable to what I'm working on right now. But if it is cool enough, I need to write it down and save it for something else because down the line, it may be applicable. If I had a cool idea for a character in a fantasy series, I'll write that down, write the basics of it down, tuck that away for later. We're on space opera sci-fi right now, and I'm gonna rock with that right now. And then once I'm done with that, I go through my notes and pick up, say, here we go. Got it. Something else, to put in this other thing. And now that we're off sci-fi, we can kick on this fantasy thing. What I kind of want to do is kind of flip back and forth. While one idea is on the back burner, we're working on one, and then we just flip-flop it to constantly create. Because right now, when things are shut down for other artists and writers, content is king. We need to make sure that we have plenty of stuff to roll out with. The last convention I was at, I had 2 novels. So I'm trying to come back when things open back up, 3 novels in one series, 1 novel in another, and 2 graphic novels at the minimum in that one series. And then we're probably going to have a comic series for the other one as well. So we need to keep creating. There shouldn't be any such thing as overload unless you're just scatterbrained and not working on one while you're getting too many ideas simultaneously. You need to have a way to file those ideas away so that you can focus and work and perfect each one, or at least not perfection, but as close to it as possible, get it as best as it can be, and work on that one idea. But don't forget all the other things, because you may come up with something amazing, and if you don't write it down, you don't find a way to record that idea, you may lose it, and then you may come up with, I used to do this when I did music back in the day. I'd have an idea, I'd kind of hum it, I'd forget it and not write it down, and then when you try and do it again, it's never the same. At least not in my experience. That original idea is usually the better one.
Agreed. So now,
So
go ahead, Taffy.
So I want to actually get into the Kickstarter itself because one of the things we didn't talk enough about the last time was the actual tiers themselves. So I want to actually I dropped the link in the chat for the Kickstarter for you guys again, and I want to get into the tiers. So tell us. I know the first few tiers are just like for support, but I want to get into some of the things that you are giving away as part of like supporting the projects. So I see here at $5, they get a piece of original artwork, and then at $8 is when you can actually get the story. So tell us about the. Go ahead.
$8 is Terminal Lens. That is the graphic novel in PDF form. The $5 is the Pharaoh print, the one that you had up a minute ago with the character floating over the pyramids. That is the Pharaoh print that is in the $5 tier. 8 is the graphic novel. 10 is another print, which is a history breakdown.
Right there you just passed.
Yeah, there's a split in the graphic novel. This is a more detailed version of that, where I think it's 11 by 17 print of Pharaoh in various societies through history, where he was manipulating and influencing wars and various other conflicts throughout the world. That's that $10 veteran print. 15 or more is a physical copy of the graphic novel. Let's see, which is the physical version of the graphic novel to have in your hands. That's for 15. Then the GMC Recon tier is the graphic novel plus this military challenge coin that I had 100 made. Comes with their own little plastic case. Their case. Those made. There will be a limited edition. If you see us at cons after this Kickstarter is over, and there are any of these coins left, they will not be at the same price point. Just letting you know right now. They will be going up. The 20 or more is the variant cover by Sean Elaine that illustrated that cover. Colors by Tommy Shelton. That's just it's the same thing as it's inside this graphic novel, just with a variant cover on the front of it. 25 or more, the hard charger. That is a pre-order for Volume 2, which we are currently working on, of the graphic novel. That is a physical version shipped out to you. 30 or more, the GMC Recon. That is the coin plus the graphic novel. You scroll down a little bit, and you can see there are 44 left in that tier. 45 or more, that is all 3 novels in paperback plus the graphic novel. The Officer at 75 or more is the same thing, except you're getting signed hardcover versions of the novel. The 100 or more executive offer is all the visuals, basically, that we have available. Maybe they don't want the books, but you want all the prints, the coin, and the graphic novel. So all the visual stuff that you want for 100 or more, including this metal print of the banner.
Show that off.
I think I showed this to you last time. There's a metal print of the advertising banner. 11 by 14, comes with the frame on the back. Hang it right there. That is,
I like that.
Metal.
Yeah.
Tap that real quick. I thought I heard a clink.
He said, "Let him know."
Clink, clink.
I'm like, what is this color, boy? That he know what he said. Tap it for him one time. Let him hit a noise on it.
All the visuals. So with that, you would get all of the prints: the Pharaoh print, the history print, the graphic novel. What else? What else visual besides that? Is a coin in there? Number 5 history print, the metal, and the metal print. All three now, and the novels as well. In the Commandant is going to be in that. And the $700 tier, that is basically your likeness, and you would have to tell us what you would want to be from the Ancient Illumination universe. Be it Kisan Ascari, you could be a Jade Assassin, you could be one of the Galactic Marines. You could be a Limbia Johari with crystallized jewel hair and diamond-like skin. You would have to tell us what you want, and we will get together and try and make a cover specifically with your likeness and what character. Yes, you do. There,
always everything's autographed.
Yeah, we're signing everything.
Yep.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, what I love most about the 700 tier is the fact that it's going to be a limited run.
Oh yeah.
So it's almost like you become a part of the world, and it'll never. Like you said, you could either get on the wave now and have this limited edition of yourself within the actual universe to never be reprinted. All I'm saying is, to me, that sounds like a sound investment as well.
I mean, how cool would that be if it pops up on Amazon Prime or HBO a couple years from now, and you got a cover with you on it by the original artist?
And one of a kind. That's the only one that exists.
Listen, that's that Superman #1 type stuff. That's what I like. You find that in Grandpappy basement in 2020. You know, 20 bajillion in the future. And next thing you know, you're sitting on a couple million, because that's what I believe. I believe y'all sitting on $1 million project, genuinely.
Oh, definitely.
And even then, that's underselling you. And one of the things that I want everybody to be cognizant of, there's 7 days left in the Kickstarter. I'm gonna repeat that. 7 days left. So now is that before when we first did this, we had a little bit of time. Maybe you said, okay, you know, I put a couple dollars aside, but you didn't get the chance to do it. Now we're kind of impressed upon the urgency of the Kickstarter is about to end. And one of the things about Kickstarter is if it's not fully funded, you don't get the project, at least not through Kickstarter.
Yeah, no. And once this thing funds, the other thing is everybody that pledges for physical rewards will also be getting 2 more prints. Once we hit that 6,000, that's what this will unlock. You get the King of the Kisana, the Queen of the Kisana Askari, and the King of the Kisana Askari will also be added to the package that you get.
And real quick, before you know, because definitely you guys also integrated some pretty selfless acts in your Kickstarter. Can we talk about some of those stretch goals real quick?
Yeah, at $8,000, that'll enable us to give $500 to St. Jude's Hospital. If you don't know, St. Jude's basically pays for cancer treatments for kids with cancer. So yeah, we wanted to be able to give back on our way to getting these goals. Because I know myself, $500 by myself would be a hard thing to pull off, but I think together it makes it a lot easier. So not only will we be contributing to our Kickstarter, you'll help us give back to them. And at the $10,000 level, we're also going to give another $500 to the Wounded Warriors Project, which is important to me as a veteran and former Marine myself, for people that are wounded during their service to the country. Because we all know the governments don't always do right by everybody. So sometimes we have to look for other sources.
Big facts.
As we are finding out.
For sure. So I want to just thank you guys again, Rod and Jordan. I dropped the link again for the Kickstarter down in the chat for you guys as well. I also linked to Rod's website, ancientillumination.net. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow the progress of this amazing story.
You can find me on Facebook, Rod Van Blake. You can find me same name at Rod Van Blake on Instagram. Kisana Askari on Twitter. My author website is ancientillumination.net. And of course, you can find us right now on Kickstarter for the 15th of December. Basically the 14th, because it says something like 12:57 a.m. is when it shuts down. So on the 14th. My website will be up and live and going, and I'll let you know new projects that'll be coming out. We'll have to split that off as well for the fantasy series when we're ready to let that go. Come out and support. Get on now. Be cool before the cool kids. Let's get it cracking, Jordan.
And so basically, you can follow me at JP Jackson Art. You can see that. And so right there, got the merch. Got my own merch. But gotta stay on brand. But basically, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JP Jackson Art.
Easy peasy. Yo, I love it. JP said, I got bam, branded. Right.
And just to reiterate for you guys, so for at $15, you get a signed physical copy of the graphic novel at the and at $30 is where you get the little commemorative coin. You guys, this is like so important. This is exactly what Head Nerds in Charge is about, giving a platform and a spotlight to the underserved content creators of our community. We out here busting gates wide open, making sure that everybody can eat. Head over to the Kickstarter and ancientillumination.net. Let's support. Let's get this project back. And come on, let's just blow past these goals, because I want to get out here and really do some great stuff. And I'm trying to get some of that extra artwork, because that junk look dope.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. We put our money where our mouth is. We already, a few of us have already gone ahead and backed this particular project ourselves. Number one, because like Tef said, I want my coin. But aside from that, the dope thing is, I love when people say, "Hey, listen, you can be with us now and support while we starting, but trust you when you have full confidence of knowing where you're gonna go. It gives you a certain empowerment, and it gives you a certain drive. Plus, I love supporting things like this because then I know who to borrow some money from later on down the line when y'all rich and famous. So listen, I got no shame. I didn't pretend to have no shame. I already know if King Kurt Live and Tuffy Wonder putting our name on it, trust and believe me, you can be almost but guaranteed it is right up your little black nerdy sci-fi heart, because Ancient Illuminations is going to be the next big thing. It's up to you or whether or not you're going to be on it. So
facts.
As with always, we appreciate you guys supporting, especially keeping the comments and the chat lit on a surprise Monday. You know, you don't never know. We might we might just show up in your crib every so often. But you know, if we do it, it's for a special reason. And this is definitely one of those times. Like Teffy said, the website is right here below. And before we get out of here, Rod, Jay, do y'all have anything you want to say before we go?
Just want to say thank you for having us on. It's a great opportunity.
For having us on. Shouts out to lovely Thornton, Kasim.
And they riders, boy. They
jumped in as soon as last time. Lovely Thornton, Stacy Deloach, Kasim Trammell, Curtis, you jumped in. Appreciate you.
Look, bro.
We gonna
they already hating on me, bro. Listen, it's not me and Rod. Look, me and Rod, we've already bonded. I already know. So don't look. I can be exclusive with everybody rich and famous. When Jay over there got his own comic book company and all that, I'm just saying I'm trying to make inroads on the ground floor for folks. Stop hating don't hate the hustler, hate the game. But
so irky, I swear to God.
Stop it, Teffy. Look now. We trying to. You want to be famous, Negro. This is what we got to do. Anyway, no, dead up, y'all. But like Teffy wanted to say, really, the whole point is the proliferation and promotion of Black content creators. Y'all want to see more of us in media, right? That's all I ever hear about. We're not in mainstream media. We're not in sci-fi. Y'all saw Lovecraft Country and y'all saw The Watchmen. Y'all got a little taste of what happens when we are the focal point in these stories. Well, now you have whole universes, whole worlds, whole novels, whole graphic novels for you to jump on, where we're just not side characters or we're not just the magical Negroes. We're actually human beings who just might happen to have a couple superpowers. So stop playing. Hop on this Kickstarter. There's no reason why we can't get them over the hump of $600 ain't about nothing. Let's let the collective come together and help these brothers reach their goal so I can get my coin. Because if I don't get my coin, I'm going to feel away.
Oh my
King Kurt Live, Teffy Wonder, my man Rod and Jay, we getting ready to get up out of here. But as always, cousins, make sure to check back with us every Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Y'all already know our live show will go off without a hitch, and we'll continue the promotion of this Kickstarter while we still got time, because there's only 7 days left. Don't forget that. We only got 7 days left till this promotion to this Kickstarter ends, and we have to have it fully funded for them to be able to have the resources they need to bring all the graphic novels to print. So as we sign off, thank you again for supporting us in the chat. Jake, what you got? Is that
No, I just backed it. So listen, this is proof, you guys. We don't just get up here and be like, you should spend your money on this stuff. We spend our money on this stuff. We believe in these projects just as much as we want you to believe in them. Go to the Kickstarter. Let's help put these guys on the map. You're gonna wish you had.
Yeah, because when I once we get immortalized in there, I'm gonna have to save up a couple more than $700. But when I get to the $700 tier and I'm a regular part of this, I'm gonna have exclusive content. Teffy, that's why we love you. Dead up, everybody, go do the exact same thing. Teffy Wonder didn't already set the pattern for you. Go ahead, hit the Kickstarter. It's live right now. 7 days left. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh no, we got another interview tomorrow, right, Teffy? Tuesday.
It's not live, but yeah.
Oh, yes. All right. So we got another interview tomorrow, but y'all won't see it till later. But live show on Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about Ancient Illumination again on Wednesday to remind you when there's only 5 days left in the Kickstarter to stop playing around. But for tonight, go ahead on, put your feet up, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
9